Hey guys, it's Cynical Who here, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here.
Really odd seeing you do that in the flesh.
Yeah, as you can hear, I'm actually here with Max this time.
Yeah, we're here in the flesh for the first time as opposed to doing this over the phone. The downside is, of course, I didn't bring my microphone because I thought, oh, well, if we'll bring it, it's fine. How stupid am I? That was naive. So this is shoddy laptop quality, but hopefully you won't have noticed. Well, you will have noticed because I've just said it.
Shoddy laptop quality, but our shoddy opinions to go along with it. So
Yeah.
So yeah, this is.
I've put it in the red twice already by laughing so hard.
Anyway, this is the Haunting of Villa Diodati. I think.
Yeah.
I feel stupid because in all my other videos.
No, don't feel stupid. People normally say, "Oh, apologies if I butchered the pronunciation."
But I called it Villa.
Fuck other people. I'll pronounce it how the fuck I want to pronounce it.
I called it a Haunting of Villa. Like I thought it was a name.
No, the Haunting of Villa Diodati. That's how I pronounce it.
There we go. So
shoot me
again. You, as always, you hold off. So let's unleash it all here. Let's gush. What did you think? What do you think of the episode?
I'm thinking I always start it every week. Let's start off with you instead.
I thought it was bloody good. I really liked it. The pacing was something that stood out to me. It was like the pacing was all very well. Like other episodes, we were all like, it was a bit short for time at the end, and there were some scenes that dragged. But this was consistent throughout, and it felt long, but not in a bad way.
It did feel long, but could have lost a few minutes. I didn't really like all the sort of resolution and talking to them at the end. I would have liked it if they just left abruptly and it sort of left on a big question marks of
the way they reveal ghosts are real to Graham. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
But it ended a bit too softly. But the treatment of the Cybermen was good. It was nice to see the human face, and they looked great and menacing. That scene with the baby as well.
I wish the baby died.
And it's like
it was just my dark sense of.
But no, they couldn't have killed it because it's history and all that, and the baby's supposed to be history.
Fair enough.
You can kill the butler because no one remembers the butler. I pray thee, remember the valet. What was I going to say? So Cybermen, pretty good treatment, some good scenes. It was like Praxius and Can You Hear Me? I was kind of particularly Praxius. It was like good setup, and I was thinking with this, like Praxius, it would be good setup, but I would not be satisfied with the payoff, but I was satisfied with the payoff. The moment the Cyberman appeared was a great moment. You knew it was coming. It was just great to...
Yeah. And BBC America bloody spoiled it on Twitter.
Well, to be honest, we all saw it coming regardless. Because there were rumours before. But treatment of Cyberman was good. Up until the last scene where he's rejected, but I thought the treatment of Byron was pretty good because it was historically accurate, but it didn't make him look too stupid either.
I liked how he was trying to
I did. That was slightly amusing to start with, but it kind of, once it became less subtle, I would have preferred it if they kept it subtle just in the looks. But apart from that, I liked what they did with Byron and the Romanticists. There's a real passion there. But no, within minutes, I was pretty much enjoying it. And the thing is, we're planning on doing a retrospective looking back at all of Series 12 at some point. And I was pretty much expecting myself to say, yeah, it's okay, but I don't see myself rewatching it again. I was just waiting for this big payoff that ever came, the big payoff that never came. And I feel like we finally got it, and it's finally starting to ramp up, 8 episodes too late, but we're finally getting some real excitement. And it's good setup for a good finale, I think.
What did you
just don't screw it up, Chris.
Yes, please, because it's been such a good track record, such a good improvement from last year. What did you think of the Cyberman design?
I liked it. I mean, we know we're going to get a sleeker Cyberman design that looks better, but as a kind of rusted, decayed, it looked pretty good. I liked how we saw the sort of human face, and
I didn't mind
the whole treatment and the way the Cybermen were written were pretty good. Certainly the best they've been for some years, actually.
As someone who's a big fan of Nightmare and Silver design and the story itself,
yeah. The thing is,
I think it's maybe something like the Tomb of the Cyberman design, or
the thing is though, the Cybermen are they're very difficult to get right because they are just humanoid versions of the Daleks, really. And to that end, I always prefer the Daleks to the Cybermen. I never really liked the Cybermen too much. They've certainly been dealt a bad hand in stories in the past, but I think the way they were handled tonight was certainly the best they've been handled for some years, possibly since 2006. Although there are Cybermen stories since then that I do like.
Not enough in time.
Yeah, I watched that during the week, and just the Stephen Moffat style of dialogue, even though it's Moffat not firing on all cylinders, and he's coming to the end of his tether, you can see that. But still, the dialogue's still head and shoulders above what we normally get from a Chibnall episode. But no, that was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not
I
sure
was
what
pretty
to-
excited the moment it started, but
I think it was shot beautifully.
yeah,
Everything looked fantastic. I loved the lighting. I think on looking on the promo pictures, it all seemed quite blue, and I was thinking, oh, that looks quite artificial. But when we were actually watching it, it was like, wow,
yeah.
that
But the
is
thing is,
really
the
good.
publicity photos have been a little more
Oh yeah, they always are.
thrown together, particularly this year. Not they look all right, but they look a bit. They're not as stylistically imaginative as the previous one. The one with the Doctor looking over Lake Geneva is nice.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I know you're probably fed up of of hearing me say this, as I always say in
the
the
big
reviews,
finish.
but they've just completely messed up the canon. How is the Mary Shelley? Because there's a whole nother
Yeah, but the
series
thing
of
is,
Mary Shelley Cyberman.
Big Finish is asking for it because they've just done so much. They've tied over so many holes over the years. There's kind of every single little loose thread has been covered. But it's such a good idea that it was inevitable it was going to happen at some point. But
and also I've got this comic here, The Glorious Dead, which I unboxed in my other video.
yeah,
But this Cyberman here, which you guys can't see, but Croton is the Doctor Cyberman companion who's had his inhibitor destroyed.
oh right,
So he has human feelings, but as you can
that's
see,
interesting.
he's a. Well, what I'm saying is, of course, there's never going to be an original idea from Doctor Who, but it has been done before, whether or not it be canon. Because
That's been one of my criticisms of Series 12. There is no such thing as an original idea, but it feels like they're blatantly ripping off stories from the past and hoping no one will notice.
Said it was similar.
It was similar to Castrovalva, you mentioned.
Oh, Castrovalva, definitely with the whole loop. I really like that bit because that's why I must.
Yeah, certainly. It was intriguing.
Very, very Chimes of Midnight. If you've heard that Big Finish story, which you haven't, but you really need to, because it is one of the best Doctor Who stories. Period. Like it was written by Robert Sherman, so you can't really go wrong there. But Chimes of Midnight is just stellar as a listen, and it was very much like that with the whole. This person is the house. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't heard Chimes of Midnight. But Edward Grove and you know how that bit where they get reset into the drawing room, it's like, oh, we're back in the scullery, like in that episode. If you've heard it, very good anyway. But the house is alive. I'm just looking on IMDb now. It's 6.6
out of 10. 33 user ratings, 1 critic review. Having skimmed over Twitter, it seems fairly positive, the reaction. But
I'll just have another look now. So do make sure you are following us on Twitter, by the way. Honestly, meh. 6 out of 10, perhaps. Wow.
Let me go back and read that again.
This is from
while the character development. So, Who Discussions says, whilst the character development main and side was brilliantly done for a 50-minute slot, I agree. I don't think the story that good, to be honest. More positives than negatives, though. Yeah, more positives than negatives, certainly. There wasn't much that really irritated me or struck me as being a bad thing. Brilliant story. So Joe Cook is saying a brilliant story, great setup for a finale, great direction, had a real gothic horror vibe to it. It really made the Cybermen scary again. I think that's the key takeaway. It made the Cybermen scary again.
Good setup, as he says, but also, do you think maybe people, when this is over, are they going to be treating this as a 3-parter like Utopia Sandwich Drums last time? Utopia was the setup story, but it's still. I
think it's going to be like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have liked it if it. I would have liked it if it had led in a bit more. If it kind of ended on sort of grave, but as it ended, I thought the ending too soft. Really, it was nice to see sort of Byron reading this poem and it's compared to the Doctor. That was an interesting thing. But as an ending, I would have preferred sort of ending on a sort of moment of tension. It's like, oh, the lone Cyberman's out there and the Doctor's given him the power. Sort of not a cliffhanger, but apart from that, and sort of Byron being made a slight, it was slight fun being made out of Byron. And that little scream cliche at the start, just before we get the titles. But apart from that,
But,
I think certainly one of the better ones of Series 12. I'd certainly rewatch that one again.
Thoughts on Jodie's waistcoat?
No, I didn't have a problem with it. Jodie was actually quite good tonight. Her speech towards the end was
nice. I don't know if I've brought this up, but what's your favourite jumper?
My favourite jumper?
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to have opinions on that. Wouldn't that be misogynist?
Well, no, it's a costume design, isn't it? Was my favourite.
She actually, this is going to sound cruel, but I actually think she looks better in the costume she was wearing in The Woman Who Fell to Earth and Spy Fort, as opposed to the costume she normally wears.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, if she'd been in something like Women Who Fell to Earth, it would have been too similar to Capaldi's perhaps, but it looks better than what they've got. When I first saw the costume being launched in the photos a couple of years ago, it just looked a bit too doctory for its own sake.
Well, I mean, fair enough, but
it's kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed.
The big thing is whether or not it works on screen. The costume makes her slightly hard to take seriously, but it kind of recedes into the background sometimes. So.
But Jodie was fantastic in it, I think.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I was really thinking last week after her little awkward moment with Graham that she wasn't fit to play the Doctor. And this is stupid because one week I'm thinking she's not fit to play the Doctor, and then the next week she knocks it out of the park and makes me think, okay, she's all right. I don't have a problem with her. But it does give me hope because I was just about to give up and say, oh, it's not very original. It's not really going to come back. But this was filmed near the end of the Series 12 run. So I actually think that they're starting to find their feet now. And I'm hoping Series 13 will be better. It's a naive hope, I know. But Series 12 has sort of been okay. But I'm just hoping Series 13 is a little bit. They're certainly going to have time to figure it out because we've heard this week they're not going to start filming till September, which will mean probably a launch of September 2021. So they're going on a nice long rest, which is slightly frustrating, but hopefully that gives them time to really make sure the scripts are as good as possible. I'd rather wait for something that's good, but just that moment when she says, I will not lose anyone to that.
Yeah, the characterizations were good. Her speech at the end was good, and very good. And considering 49 minutes, they crammed a lot into there, but in a good way. There was a lot of. It was creepy. It scared me. Costumes were great, and just roll on next Sunday where we will have.
I don't know if it will live up to that, really. But
no,
we'll see.
Because you were saying as we were going into it, someone had seen it and said it's the best episode so far. Would you? Has it beaten any episode of the series? Is it the best of the Chibnall era?
It's certainly up there.
Yeah.
I think we were saying Can You Hear Me was the best one.
I need a chance to rewatch
and that. It pissed me off more and more during the week, but this was certainly better than last week. I'm trying to think what other episodes there have been that I liked. The Nikola Tesla one was alright. Fugitive of the June is... I think it's dead heat between Fugitive of the June and this episode. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah. And then Spyfall and The Women Who Fell to Earth are pretty close.
Spyfall part 1.
Yeah, part 2 is a bit of a drag, but I did like him part... Well, I'll save it for the review.
Yeah. But as I said...
I don't have much else to say other than that, but...
Yeah, I think a rewatch will definitely serve, and in retrospect, after seeing the finale 2-parter with this not tacked on, but, leading into it, I think we'll be able to judge it fully, and...
Yeah. I think, yes, it was certainly... The Series 12 retrospective would be quite important to do because we're basing... The thing is with these initial reactions, it's been good fun to do, but of course you need that time to sort of mull it over and, you're judging solely on initial reactions, and also you need to judge it based on how it fits in the series because they're making a lot out of the plot arc. And the thing is, with every episode, I've been going, it's okay, but I'll see what happens with future episodes because on its own... It leaves a bit to be desired, but it depends on what happens next, really.
Plot hole. Where did Graham get the sandwiches from?
Well, I think that's deliberately open-ended to make us think, oh, ghosts. It's a bit like the end of Last Christmas when we see the tangerine on the tree and it's not really explained.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me you don't remember that one now.
I really don't remember that one because... Well, I mean, Last Christmas is okay. But...
Probably the best Christmas special Capaldi had. But I've been meaning to rewatch Husbands of Riversong and Return of Dr. Mysterio. Because I don't think I've seen them since they were first transmitted.
Me neither. We were together for those ones as well, but I have not.
That'll be for next Christmas. 2 months too late.
And as I was saying...
Quite an appropriate episode for a weekend where apparently the weather's not too great. Storm Dennis, which normally is a reassuring name you see on the front of a fire engine. But my dad's been going, I remember the hurricane of 1987. This is just a light shower. He has a point, to be honest. He could barely stand up there on winds of 100 miles an hour.
Hang on, what? Oh, was the hand? Hang on, what was the hand supposed to be? Was that supposed to be the invisible guy controlling it, or
that's a point.
explained?
That's not really explained. I'm a little bit unsure. There's some bits of the plot didn't make sense. So why does he need the Siberian? That was sort of a bit breathlessly explained, and I wasn't quite keeping up with it.
I think what's happening is he needs the Siberian to get, which just sounds too much like Siberia, by the way. He's trying to get the cyber base so he can get the knowledge of future. It's like in Genesis of the Daleks, where Davros is trying to obtain knowledge of future Daleks so he can.
But it's like, yeah, it's a bit breathlessly explained. I'm still not quite sure of the plot, and I see myself probably guessing it again, but I'd certainly go back to it, and they did a good job with it.
How did someone get a video out that quickly? Sorry about this, we're just looking at the Bolstrake Twitter, which is, of course, a dodgy place if you know where to go. Do you think a Bolstrake section will be appropriate on every single one of these?
No, I don't want to make too much out of it.
But yeah,
so I just wanted to see if he said anything, but no.
Probably for the best, let's be honest.
I was just trying to see what other people are making of it, but personally, I thought it was all right. But see what it's like Fugitive. It's dependent on what happens next week. So, Chris, you're listening. Don't muck it up, right? I know it's a bit late for me to be saying that because the episode probably pretty much, if not finished, because I know you were saying in production notes of Doctor Who magazine that the next time trailer is done 2 weeks in advance. So, but please, just I hope it's good. That's all I want.
Is that?
Sorry.
Is that most we have to say? I mean, we're almost
I think, 20 minutes. I don't have much else to say. We've rounded on.
I quite enjoyed that, I think, all things considered. I thought it was like the genesis of the Cybermen, in the terms of there was a moral quandary at the end. I liked that. You like that? I quite like the fact that we saw Jodie in a different light.
Yeah, because the one criticism I had that Jodie Whittaker didn't have this sort of trial to overcome and didn't have this sort of moral dilemma and problem. But yeah, that was addressed, so can't argue with that.
I thought it might have been a little bit boring at times. It just kind of felt like it was a kind of a ghostlighty kind of wandering around in a murky house.
Well, you can't have enough of Ghostlight, can you?
No, I suppose not, actually. Although it
was just like Ghostlight, because there were certain bits that didn't make sense. It was like, I mean, you had exposition, which I suppose is better than having no exposition at all.
I probably need to understand the man walking through the wall bit. I'd probably need to watch it again before I fully understood the point of that, apart from to kind of add a layer of kind of creepiness to the whole thing.
How was he walking through the wall?
They're like the androids in Earthshock. They're like the androids in Earthshock. They don't really fit within the plot because you just have Cybermen there. You could just have Cybermen, but they just look cool.
And why did he spare the baby?
Because the baby was
Siberian. What? It was him?
No, it reminded him of being the father.
Is that basically the exposition of it? Yeah.
And of course, you can't kill babies. That's just too cruel. Thanks for that, Oliver.
I think at the heart of it, there's a nice idea there. The idea that Mary Shelley was inspired to write Frankenstein by a Cyberman.
It's been done before in Big Finish.
I didn't know it had been done before in Big Finish, so therefore, as not knowing that kind of non-canon Doctor Who, I thought this was an interesting, surprising idea.
Okay,
but you're more cynical than I am, so obviously you're the cynical Doctor Who guys.
That's all right. You've given us some very good advice. Now get out.
Oh right.
We'll credit you as the tramp.
There's some food on
Go away!
All the boys, if you want some.
I have no idea what he's on. Close the door. So we get... Right, we were just about to wrap it up, weren't we?
Yeah, and then that was my dad's verdict.
No, don't... Yeah. It's much more exciting if they don't know who he is.
That was the timeless child. Giving his opinion on tonight's episode. So,
he's not, well, he's a man-child. The timeless man-child. Things will be happening. Ascension of the Cybermen will be airing 7:10, and we'll be talking about it after the episode and putting the video up. And we're going to have a guest, aren't we?
Harry's is going to be on the channel, so that's going to be...
For his sins.
Yeah, that's all we have to really say for this episode, isn't it?
Yes. So, out of 10...
Oh, I'd say a good 8.5 or an 8.
7, but likely to rise.
Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, let's leave it there. So, thank you very much for listening. Sorry if the audio quality is slightly...
Hopefully it should be better next week, because, again, last week I forgot to plug my mic in, so
Yes.
Yeah, join us next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Again, Chris, don't screw it up. Goodbye.